Okay, so today we are going to talk about our CVs, cover letters, maybe look at some, not maybe, we are, sorry, we look at some resources of how we can find a job. And then depending on how much time we have towards the end, we will also look at some interview questions. And I have a lot of resources and things that I've actually already put into the homework sheet for you. So that is all available for you. And I also need to let you know that in an hour, maybe a little bit less than an hour, the dog walker is going to show up and he doesn't have a key to the door. So I have to let him in. So I'll just need to do that real quick and then come back. So you'll probably hear the bell ring whenever he gets here. That and the dogs will start barking like crazy as well because they love him. So they go insane. So we'll need to do that. That's also why I'm sitting in a different space. I'm downstairs so I can be closer to the door to unlock it and everything. All right, so any questions first before we get started on today's lesson? Any questions, anything that may have come up over the weekend or anything you want to ask about?
No.
Okay.
I just had several minutes before the lesson, before the session, and looked through the links to CV, organizing and language, and I found them very useful.
Good,
so
I'm glad.
It's quite decent information, so I will apply on it, grab it.
Perfect. All right, so we'll start first with looking at talking about finding a job. And first, what kind of a job do you want? Is this something that's full-time, part-time, temporarily? And do you have any questions on what that means between full-time, part-time, and temporary type of work? Anyone have any questions about that?
I think we understand because in Russian and Ukrainian, in Ukraine we have the same sort of same kind of employment.
Okay, perfect. And so what are you doing now to try to find a job? What types of resources are you looking at and using to find a job? Svetlana, how about you?
As for me, Job Center said me that I'm employed in Ukraine. That's why I have to find my work by myself. And a man from Job Center recommended me to find it by myself because it will be better.
Okay.
Interesting. Yes. That's why I use LinkedIn and Indeed. And here we have total jobs. I think it's like aggregator job offers. That's why I try to find something interesting for me. But for example, as for Birmingham, I have problems because we live in city center. And I can't find the job as I want in city center because I like plants, I like production, and all factories are located not in the city center.
Okay. And what type of work are you looking for?
I'm looking for full-time and not temporary work.
So full-time?
Full-time and permanent work.
Okay, great. Yeah. And why, so when he told you at the job center that you need to find your own, did he give you some resources? Like, did he suggest using LinkedIn and Indeed or any other?
Yes, he suggested LinkedIn and Indeed.
Okay. Give me just 1 second. It looks like one of the dogs just threw up. And I need to get that cleaned up. I apologize. You all talk among yourselves, share some ideas. Not sure what's happening here. Sorry.
you already used this Indeed and Monster.com? Because these two are new for me.
Monster you?
Yes, Monster and Indeed. I know
No.
only LinkedIn.
Indeed, I know Indeed before, but Monster, I don't know what is it. Maybe it's not in England.
For me, Monster is also unfamiliar, but other sources is pretty good.
Yes, indeed, pretty good resource. You should take a look.
Because I know LinkedIn, I used it before. And what is the difference between all those resources?
It's like maybe Work UI and Headhunter. I don't know.
Yes.
It's
For me,
different.
So indeed, it's like English Work UA.
Yes.
yes, but LinkedIn, it looks like a social network. It's not only for looking for a job. It's like networking for a lot of cases.
Yes, LinkedIn, it's an international resource.
Yes.
Is anyone, I can show you my LinkedIn page if anyone is, I didn't think about that. I would have had that pulled up earlier. Why, what? Seriously, I don't need to do any of that right now. It's always when you're trying to quickly get into something and they want you to like
Yes.
verify everything. So yeah, LinkedIn, it is considered kind of a social media in a sense, but it's social media for job hunting or networking with other people who are in the same type of job that you are. So this is, let's see, so like my profile.
In my understanding, initially LinkedIn was not created for job hunting. It was created like social networking, and then it like transferred to those areas as well.
But with LinkedIn is one problem for me. For example, when I have a profile on LinkedIn and try to find new work, for example, at my work in Ukraine is forbidden to looking forward new job when I working there. That's why if I try find the work with LinkedIn, everything knows about it.
Okay. So
but you can hide this information that you are looking for a job. It can be hidden.
Yeah, Svetlana, and it is an international network. So in another world, I mean, in Europe, when you are looking for another job, you should say about your boss. So everybody know about it, and it's not like in Ukraine. So if your work and it's okay for boss, it's okay. You won't try to another job. Okay, it's great. But in Ukraine, it's not okay, so that's why. But LinkedIn is international. It's international network.
If you can't list the actual employer that is on there, you can, just list what your skills are, and that also will be helpful. So I don't actually have my skills, but under the about section, you can put anything that you want to in this about section. So this is where you can list, what your skills are and what you're looking for. I would also do that. So right now, the way mine is set up is with what I'm actually doing, but you can also change this to say, looking for, or, something like that. That you are kind of job hunting in that sense. I was gonna see if sometimes I have some of my friends have theirs, or we can look and see. So it's kind of like you don't have to put your actual job, but an idea of what you have done So just, some of these things like student affairs socialist, those are skills that you have that you can put there, and not the actual job that you have done or are currently doing if you're still employed while you're looking. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How is it effective? How effective is this resource?
I get not job interviews. I get job offers quite often, and mine is not even set as wanting to look for a job right now. So I find it pretty effective, and I know that people have found positions on here. And you can also go into, there's a section about jobs as well, and you can put in the information that you're looking for. So this is the suggested job searches that are going to come up are all going to deal with English teaching and things, but you can change all of that depending on what your skills are. And then you'll see lists of jobs that are hiring or companies that are hiring in there as well. So
the success depends on how interesting your profile and how full your profile would be with the information. It's not so easy to make a good profile in LinkedIn, because you even need some improvement, some people who can confirm, for example, your skill. If you say that you are skilled in I don't know, in IT, you need somebody who can confirm your skills. So it's
Thank you for this tip, because I have some people who can confirm my skills.
Yeah, you can ask people to write like a reference for you as well. So if mine are down here somewhere. And then you can list what your skills are, and then people can endorse you for those skills if you want. And then there's also the recommendations. All of my recommendations are from my previous jobs and things. This has nothing to do with what I'm currently doing, but it still shows that I have, recommendations on being a hard worker and that type of thing. So you can get those as well. You can also list your languages that you speak. Also, so yeah, you can definitely find ways to promote your profile more. A previous job that I had, when they hired new people, they only hired from LinkedIn. So there are some companies that it doesn't do any good they're not going to be on Indeed or on Monster or, through a job center or anything like that. They're only going to be on LinkedIn. So it's just one of many tools to use, I think, that are out there to find what you want.
But I'm sorry, what is Monster? Is it different from what is features for Monster, for example? I've never heard, and none of us never heard about this Monster.
May I ask about this LinkedIn before?
Yeah, and we'll come back to the Monster thing. Yes, please.
Okay.
Girls mentioned that it's like social network link. Should I put some entertaining information like on Instagram, or just the information concerning my skills, my education, and the recommendations? Because I remember from the past, because when I really looked for a job, I got to know about this LinkedIn, this resource. And I remember that it was like a very professional resource. So no interesting information, no entertaining information, just work.
Yeah, to me, LinkedIn is more about the professional networking. I was looking to see, because I know I've got friends that also put up just about anything. They link their LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook are all connected, and they put the same things up all the time. Of course, right now, everything I'm running across is all professional things, but I do have some friends in the past that have posted up, just kind of funny stuff every now and then. But I would say what you would want to post the most would be things related to the type of work that you are wanting to get. So your profile itself should be focused on your skills and things of what you're looking for. And then you can make posts that deal with, so Katya, if you're looking for, doing Pilates, then you can post up information, tips, techniques, or things like that. Like just short little things in, kind of like on the feed of LinkedIn. And that shows your skill, it shows your knowledge, it shows your interest and things. And so the more that you can do things like that, the more people will see it. And I personally haven't done any of that with education side of things, but I used to before with my job. I would post up stuff that dealt with professional development training and things. So I think it all depends. And, after that, after you have a job, that's up to you and how you want your feed to work. But to me, the focus of LinkedIn is more on professionalism and the work that you're actually do, and not as much on sharing, your weekend photo of going to the beach or, something like that. That's what Instagram is for me. So yeah, that's how I look at the difference between that.
Yes, sure, I agree. But it's sometimes could be funny when some serious professionals, serious person just put some entertainment. It's also good. It's up to you how you would like to.
I think so too. Yeah,
you like to post on your.
Yeah, I think maybe every once in a while it would be a good idea to throw in, just something fun and entertaining. But not making that the focus of LinkedIn potentially. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As I know, all recruitments and all HRs, first of all, look at LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you are nothing.
That's very true. There is a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, yes. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, they don't see you, and you should to have.
Right.
So believe me. If you don't have, do it right now.
Yes. And I will be glad to help anyone, with like reviewing anything or helping getting set up or anything like that. I'm perfectly happy to spend a little time helping you do that. Okay. You just let me know and we can work that out.
I believe that I will use your offer.
Okay. No problem. It's my pleasure.
I know how to entertain people, but I don't know how to look more serious.
Gotcha. Okay. Good. I'm also noticing I really need to change my photos on mine. These are really old, so I need to probably change those as well. So every once in a while I get on and try to do some updates in my own as well. And I think that's important as well, is making sure, even if you've had a LinkedIn profile for a while, maybe you need to do some touching up on it and, change a photo or change some information, reword some things like that as well. I think that's always important to do every once in a while. It's the same with your resumes. Once you have a resume, you should be constantly updating it with new things that you're doing throughout your career and things, which we'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. Any other questions about LinkedIn before we move on to talk about Monster?
I have another advice, especially for Ukrainians who live in UK. First of all, you should put your information about what documents do you have? Do you have BRP? Do you have insurance number? Do you have any bank account? And this information should be in first line, shortly, briefly. Yeah. Because if you want to work in UK, you should to explain all companies that you have all documents for work here, because illegal work in UK
is illegal.
can't
Yeah.
be here.
I would say
Believe
use
me?
the about section. That would be
Valeria, but
Yeah.
as you know, according to our visa scheme, we are allowed to work, and it means that we have all those numbers.
right. What she's saying is
Actually, I have work permitted visa. So actually, I thought everybody have I have work permitted visa for 2 years.
yeah. I think what she's saying is to just let people know that you are there legally and that you can work. So
And I can work here legal.
mhm.
So I thought everybody has a visa with the legal work here.
Yeah.
Yes, and otherwise, if
but
we wouldn't receive any like financial support.
Right, you wouldn't, there would be no benefits.
We
and
cannot
things, right.
apply for a job with centered to.
I don't have a benefit. I don't have a benefit. I work here.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't have any
But
benefit.
it's an issue maybe to like.
If you are working here, you can't have any benefits. You
Right.
can choose or benefits or working.
I slightly disagree.
No,
Because-
I mean, if you pay tax, yes. If you pay taxes, you should choose or benefits or work because they can see it.
According
you
to
have
according to the
if you have-
information, Valeria, according to the information on the government.uk, if a person gets a job, it depends on the number of hours this person works. And yes, some amount can be subtracted from the whole amount, but it means that it depends on how many hours do you work. So as far as I understood, sometimes it's possible like to combine if it's not full-time job.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
sorry because I have a
Martin.
full-time job. Maybe you are right because I have a full-time job, so I don't
Yes.
have any benefits. I just
Anisha,
work.
In this case, of
When you
course,
came-
you cannot expect to receive some benefits if you have
Right.
full-time job.
Okay. So, but I do think that's an important thing to remember. I hadn't thought about that, Valeria, is that you're just letting people know that you are able to legally work, and you don't have to put any of your ID numbers or anything like that. You don't want to do that, obviously, because that's putting information out there for anybody to have, but just stating that, I have whatever the visa name or type that is there would be good to put in your about section here. Okay, perfect. Anything else on LinkedIn? All right, so the question was about Monster. And what was the question again?
For all of us, it's new resource, Monster. Nobody knows about it. Could
Okay.
you please explain what is the features of this resource?
So I think it's been a very long time, honestly, since I've been on Monster. But I think it is very similar to Indeed. So you would, you can upload your CV on here, and then you can, so let's say if I wanted to search on how to be a, I'll use Pilates instructor. And then, all right. We don't have any Pilates instructors that come up, but we have human resources assistant, a gas heating engineer. There's other ones that are there. But once you have your CV that is updated or uploaded onto, this is a free account, then you can do what they call the quick apply, because your CV is already connected with your account here. And then you can just let the company know, I'm interested in this. They might still have a short little form or something for you to fill out, but they will receive your information to review and get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Indeed is very similar to this as well.
Yeah.
the same way.
okay,
So
thank
it's
you.
that you can see the difference that there's one that says apply and there's one that says quick apply. So apply would mean you probably are going to have to fill out a long form and then submit information. Whereas quick apply is they will use the information you already have available within Monster. And then they might ask you for some additional if they set up an interview or something like that as well.
Mhm. Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much.
You're
Welcome.
I have just a little advice. If you want, for example, to find a job in UK, please try to send your CV first of all to recruiting agency, because the salary and the guarantee of your work will be higher if recruiting agency will introduce you. So in any company. So first of all, use this channel, and after you can send CV by yourself, because
But
you should have some guarantee there.
Valeria,
could you
is it
recommend
free?
some good recruiting company?
Is
There
it
is a lot of
free?
in UK.
Oh, a recruiting company
English
doesn't give this service for free, as far I understand.
No, for free. It's
No. It is for free. Yeah, wait a second. It is
it's
for
like
free, but if you
hidden.
don't, if you don't have enough time, for example, I need job tomorrow. They can't to find your job for your job for tomorrow. But if you have time to wait, to choose, so okay, why not? You in the end you will have
Who pays for this service?
Usually, or
companies pay.
they pay also.
Yes, company pay for the service because they want to have the best employees ever. That's why.
There are two options actually. Company could pay, and another option that when you receive job, you will pay some percent of your salary to the recruiting company. It's another option. So
Don't pay. It's like I don't know. In Ukraine we call it развод. No, don't pay. Of course, you can.
it depends.
Company should pay.
I have friend who find a very nice job through the recruiting company,
wish.
and now he pays and he's happy. Why not? Because his salary allowed him to do this.
Every month? Does he pay every month?
Yeah, but
No.
it's small part of his
Person.
salary. It depends. It's
And yes,
what kind of agreement you sign with them?
But if, for example, somebody lose the job, recruiting should to find another job and another job, so you lose nothing. That's why it's great option here.
It's a
Yeah,
good option.
that's why I ask you for a recommendation of good recruiting companies. If you promote them, maybe you can promote their names.
I changed my airport. Okay, I tried to find some.
Yeah, I think it would be good to put that into the Telegram group and
because my job wasn't from recruiting.
Mhm.
This information I knew because my friend told me this information because she found the job in Switzerland, so that's why.
And then that is the other side of finding a job is through networking. And just the people that and each other and things like that as well. Much more difficult to do in your all situation, unfortunately, but it is one of the options that is out there that we have to consider. So just letting, and I'm sure you all are, but just letting anyone and everyone know that you're looking. And hopefully one of those networks will work out for you in the future. Any other ideas of how to find a job?
Ask your friends.
Yes, that's the networking side. Yes, for sure. Ask your friends, your family, the friends of your family, friends of friends, everyone. Connect with as, and going back to LinkedIn, connect with as many people on LinkedIn as possible that you know and who they know and things, because eventually something will happen, something will work out. Mhm.
For me, Instagram works because I'm running on Instagram for several years, and most of my subscribers, they know that I'm involved in Pilates, in human design practice. I'm not sure if you know what human design is, but it's considered to be like a new astrology.
Right. Yes, I do think that different types of jobs and types of work that people do, that will depend on, you know, how you promote yourself. So promoting yourself on Instagram or on Facebook or TikTok or whatever, any of those things can work for certain types of people. For others, it's not going to work for them. Right. So you need to know what works best for you. Although at this point, I would say for you all to use whatever resources that you have available. If you have Facebook, if you have Instagram, you know, if you have TikTok, whatever it is, use them all at this point, because that is where the networking side of things come in. Right.
But it takes a lot of time.
It does. Absolutely. It does take a lot of time. But you know, the idea is that you'll find something worthwhile. It'll be worthwhile to take the time to get it done. But I would, thinking about that, maybe set a schedule for yourself, because you all do have other things that you're trying to do. I understand that as well. So maybe set a schedule for yourself that every day you're going to sit down from 8 to 10 in the morning, and that is when you're going to, you know, check all of the job boards, you're going to send your resume out, you're going to follow up with people, you know, whatever. Maybe don't do like 30 or 40 of them in one day and then leave it for a month, but like do little bits every day. Maybe it's not 2 hours, maybe it's an hour, you know, whatever it is that you want to do, but put some structure to it where, you know, this is the time that I'm going to do this. And I'm going to, you know, hone a skill, or I'm going to, you know, search for the job, or I'm going to get on LinkedIn and just search through, talk to some people, make comments on people's pages and, you know, their ideas, let them know about your expertise in an area, you know, by making comments on things that other people are posting and stuff too. So I think that is one way to look at it, and without trying to be overwhelmed with this whole idea of everything that is going on in your all's lives at the moment, and also having to find a job and how stressful that can be. So just do it in small little chunks every day or every other day that you're doing. Does that help?
Sure.
It's still overwhelming. I understand that. And it is still a lot of work, but it will hopefully pay off in the end. That's the idea anyway. Right? Okay. Anything else on finding a job? Any other types, any questions that you all have that, or even to ask each other about that? I unfortunately am not as familiar with finding a job in the UK. So I did just a little bit of research, and these were the things that came up for me, but there could be other ways as well. And I would say utilize that job center and utilize the resources that you all have been given to help you as well, as much as possible. Anything else?
And I also would like to share my experience, or my already I gained some knowledge about this, but you can also, or you should also, I don't know, go to some companies which can confirm your skills, your documents. So you have, for example, a diploma from university, from Ukrainian university. You need to confirm that it's that UK recognize your diploma in order to know if you master or just bachelor. Yeah.
Good point. All right, any other thoughts or experiences anyone wants to
But
share?
then I have like a question. I think it's a question because according to my first education, I'm a master of English language because I graduated from the pedagogical university. But in order to teach here in the UK, it's not enough. So even if they recognize this diploma like master, yeah,
Mhm.
I should gain the certificate of international exams such as the IELTS
Yes.
or
Mhm.
some of the other Cambridge exams.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, but those companies, they will give you way and give you knowledge. What should you do with in order to be a teacher or doctor or somebody else?
Can I ask you, Marin, what position do you have? Because it matters.
Sorry,
What position do you have?
position.
What position? Yes.
Did I have now I am unemployed.
No, yeah, but you know, it can be useful only for some positions. For example, for teacher is not useful because
Yes, I
teachers should go in university and take 1 year for learning, and they need to pass exams and blah blah blah. So it's not for all
No,
position. It can be.
I just would like to make you aware of this this way, and that in UK there are some companies which can approve or confirm your
For doctors, for whom?
it depends. I don't know because I am not going. No, for doctors
Okay.
you certainly need
You should yes, you should pass exams, I think.
yeah, pass exams, of course.
Yeah. You're right.
I mean, just diploma, maybe technical engineering or nature science diplomas, like something like that.
Different companies are going to maybe require different things, or different industries may require some different things. So knowing that about your particular industry and what you're looking for would be the best thing in finding that, doing that research to find out for that. So Marina, for you, that is what you have to do for what you want, right? Is to have your documents kind of approved or notaried or something.
Yeah, I just I haven't spoken to them yet because I registered and waiting for their answer. So
Okay. Yeah, it is good to know that. All right. Okay, so now we're going to move into the cover letter. So what is a cover letter? Margot, how would you describe a cover letter?
It's like resume, but have different look. If I write to if I go to read about it, I don't know.
Okay. Anyone else? Any thoughts on what a cover letter is? Svetlana?
It's cover letter. It's a letter where you can say, listen, what do you want to your future employee, not employee, the future job management, which you can't present in your CV. For example, you can shortly tell them about your motivation, about your goals, and etc. About your previous decisions, maybe something like this. No, not hobby. I don't know. In my way, not hobby, but it's message to our future job.
Employer.
Yeah, employer.
yeah.
May I try?
Yes.
It's only a trial because I have no idea, but
Okay.
I I just guess. In our CV or resume, we have to be very like short in explanation
Mhm.
in order to attract the attention of the readers. Yes, so that's why we cannot say a lot of just facts and just like bright words
Mhm.
to switch on a person who maybe is reading somehow on diagonal
Right, right.
from the beginning till the end.
Mhm.
But in cover letter, we can give some information concerning the main idea of our like CV.
Yes.
So, for example, I cannot explain a lot about Pilates, yes, in my CV because otherwise my CV will be the same as the CVs of other people.
Mhm.
But I can like adjust what I need, what I want to say in this cover letter, and
Mhm.
maybe to include some recommendations
Yes. Okay, Marina.
from other people.
Mhm.
Okay, may I also try? Yeah, I partly agree with Katya, but I also like to emphasize that cover letter, intention of cover letter is attract HR, and you can prove that you are the best person for this position, and try to explain why. Yes, and in because in CV you usually now in when you apply, you cannot even you can provide CV, but they usually provide you their own template. If it is big big companies, they usually have their own template. You can fill it, just fill it, and you have no possibilities to put something that you would like to say to people in confirmation of your skills, of your willings. So cover letter you can use like additional point to confirm that you are the best candidate.
Yes, exactly. So the cover letter would be an opportunity to expand a little bit more on your skills or why you are interested in a particular position. You know, why do you want this job? And how do your skills fit with what you can do on the job as well? So there, one of the resources, nope, that's the wrong one. One of the resources actually is from Monster. So they do provide additional resources and things as well. And this is kind of the steps to follow to write a cover letter. And obviously it has all the basics like your name and address, and then, you know, the date. So those are the basics of writing a letter basically, and the contact information, the job title, because this is all about the person you're sending in the company. Okay, so then, you know, addressing the reader, so it's dear, you know, whoever it is that you're writing to. And if there is a reference to the job, if you've seen it on some type of a job board, whether it's through Indeed or Monster, or maybe it's something else, it could be even that a friend has suggested that you write. So you would want to reference how you know about the job opening that is in there. So we would say, you know, something like regarding, so RE is the short for regarding or referencing, and then what the position is that is there, and however they have that listed. If it is from a friend, then you could, you know, you could address this in the letter itself, like in the first paragraph of the letter. You know, I received information about the blah, blah, blah position from so-and-so, and you can list their name if they've given you permission to do that. So this part of introducing your CV in 2 to 3 short paragraphs, basically that is pulling out the skills from your CV that you want to highlight, and how those skills will help with whatever this position is. And so that's where you want to put that. And then you'll end it with at the end, this is yours faithfully. I would say maybe informally is yours sincerely. What other ways do you all know of ending a letter for a CV, or I'm sorry, a cover letter? Any ideas? Okay. So typically, just using sincerely, best regards, or thank you for your consideration. Those are the ones that I see the most in professional closing salutations. So you can see like yours sincerely, or just sincerely, or best regards. That isn't there.
And what is the right word to start? Dear sir, madam, or another way? Do
Yeah,
you know?
hopefully you know what their name is, so you will
Usually
start.
not.
Yeah, so if you don't know, then there will be, you can do dear sir or madam, can work, or to whom it may concern. I'll type this one into the chat. To whom it may concern is another one that you could use. But I think dear sir or madam is probably the best. For when you don't know. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a good question. All right. And there are some sample templates. I believe if you click in here is one that would, yes. So if you click on that little link in there, it will take you to some templates, and you can even go by.
Marketing job, please.
I'm sorry?
Marketing job. How write cover letter of
Yeah.
marketing job.
So that's what I was saying. You can choose, they've got a couple of ideas of, what will be good to put for different ones. And then there is also just one that is, you're currently unemployed. So this is an idea that you want to have. And then just maybe an experienced professional or something like that. So there's several different examples. You can also just search online. If there's not one here that fits you, you can just, like search sample cover letter for blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is specifically that you would want to look for. Okay. Any questions?
Yes, question concerning like the language, as we're still like not native speakers. To what extent it's crucial? Is it crucial to have perfect English?
Yeah, that is a very good question. And I wouldn't say necessarily it has to be perfect, because even native speakers are not going to always be perfect with the language that they use. But I would suggest it's a free online writing assessment or assistant. I actually have it. I'm not signed into it right now, but you can, if you have this on your
computer. You see, Grammarly only support Ukraine. also support Ukraine.
So yeah, like if you have it just set so that anything that you're typing on your computer, it will automatically bring up, this, here's a suggestion, this needs to be changed, this word is spelled incorrectly or something like that. And there's all kinds of things. I haven't really even explored all of Grammarly, but I think you could even maybe like copy and paste into here and it will do the same thing. But let's say if you're using a Google document. No, click the wrong thing, sorry. We want to do a Google Doc. Yes, I want to just create this as a share. And you are just typing, so like, dear Mr. Smith. what it should do, and it's not doing it, it should pull up that this is not correct. That was a very bad example.
Maybe because dear, this word is exists like dear.
Maybe, but and that's one of the things that, yeah, it works, but it usually works. Why is it not working today? I saw your job. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to make some, there we go. There's one that popped up. So like it would do this and then you could correct it that on there. This should tell me that this needs to be this and this needs to be there and this needs to be there.
Yeah,
So,
usually.
yeah,
I
it
use
usually does.
Grammarly, by the way. It's very helpful, very helpful.
Yes, it is very helpful. So I would suggest having that and using it. And if you guys want to, I'm more than happy to review your letters as well for any major errors and things that would pop up. Your
Alright.
CVs and your cover letters, I'll be glad to do that for you. No problem.
Mhm.
Okay. So we've
Yes.
got, so I would use, again, you can also do a search if one of these doesn't fit with you, then you can do a search. Kalinka mentioned this one, so let's just kind of
Yeah.
look.
I'm interested in this, so it's why I make some remark.
Yeah, absolutely. So this just gives you some ideas of, what you want to put in there. So it just kind of runs through all of, here are some ideas of what you should do. And then it will have a sample letter.
In the beginning, the information about it shouldn't be mistake. For example, for this position, you should be in good language.
Yes. I don't know why it's not wanting to pull up. There we go. So this would be kind of like what a sample would look like. Here. So this is what they're talking about, like the regarding or referencing the position. If it's not something that's you're finding you're referencing from somewhere, then you can just put the information into the document itself. Okay. All
But
right.
you should remember that for UK, foreign language is Ukrainian, not English. Because
Right.
here everybody speaks English.
Exactly.
So how
and
many
I would,
languages
for
do
you guys,
know?
I would list that, in your cover letter, I would state, what level you are. So you guys are all B2 level students and that you are continuing your English language study. So I would include that in the cover letter, but also on your resume as well. Or your CV. My CV lists my languages on there and what level I am in those languages. So you can add that in also, which I think is important for you to do. Okay. And and speaking about with the language, doing LinkedIn, there's an option to do your LinkedIn page in multiple languages. So you can change that so that people can see it in English. If you're obviously wanting to use that to search for a job in the UK, you would want to have that as the main language at the moment anyway. Okay. All right. Any other questions on the CV? I'm sorry, on the cover letter. Okay. And so next is looking at the CV. And so who would like to tell me what is a CV?
So resume, like not the short biography, but biography according to the job skills and job experience. I'm not sure that I know how to say it in starting from now and back to the past.
Right, exactly. So current or present, or at least most recent if you're not currently employed, then it would be your most recent employment and then go backwards. So a big question is, how much of your past should you include on your CV?
Some people say that it's 10 years. For me, it's the period I'm engaged into the job I am looking for.
Mhm.
That's my own opinion. I can be mistaken, of course. And when it takes on Pilates, I am involved in Pilates for 5 years. So I'm not sure if I should mention the previous my previous skills. But on the other hand, I was like a team member. So I work in a team and I had a career. So I started like an input manager and I became a head of department. So it means that I have something which helped me to become
Right.
such a specialist.
Mhm.
So
So
I'm
what
like-
I've been told recently is very close to what you're saying, is that you should have a CV that is specific towards what you want to be doing. And so you may have to have multiple CVs because you're pulling in different skills and different jobs, depending on what you're going to be applying for. So right now I have two. I have my main one, which is still called a resume because that's what we use in the US. And this document literally has everything that I have ever done in my career. It doesn't go back to, like, I worked in high school, so it doesn't include that, of course, but it does my main career, after I graduated from university, it includes all of that. So I've got, all of my current stuff and then my previous employment. So everything that I've done, it's all listed in here. Back to this one here was my first real job that I had after graduating from university. I'd actually started there before that. It said 99, but I was actually there in earlier than that too, but I don't have that listed on here. It also includes, you would want to include like any professional development certifications or trainings, things like that you have gone through. So you would list all of those, or any professional societies and things that you have been a part of or are a part of. So like I was part of a Toastmasters group for a while. I did leadership programs, all that kind of stuff is what is included in here. This is what I was talking about. The education and training would include all of your certifications and things. And then I also included with mine, like I said, literally everything, community involvement. So, I'm currently still involved with a book club. So that information is in there. All of the different community organizations and things that I did, including my son's soccer team and, work that I did with them. And then I listed all of my skills are listed on here. This was for me to be able to help me pull into a separate CV in the future. If I needed to think about, this job is looking for this type of skill, then I can pull these terminologies from that. And then any publication.
Sorry, Ali, I have a question.
Yes.
I see in your CV, in your resume, there is no photo. Is it okay?
Right. So for this one here, this is for me is just everything that I have ever done in my entire life that I think could potentially be of use in the future that I might want to pull off of here and put onto another one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Also, in the US, we do not put photos on our resumes.
In UK, it's not very good idea to put your photo on CV.
Yeah. I think there's some controversy over it. I know in some countries it's required, it's part of it. But in the US, we do not include the photo because it could be discrimination. That you were not asked to come in for an interview because of the color of your skin, or because you're female, or because you're overweight, or whatever. So it is part of our laws that we have in the US that we do not include photos on resumes. So, yeah.
As
Really,
far
in
as I know-
USA, still have. I mean, American employees still
Very much
choose
so.
for skin color.
Yes, unfortunately.
I
Unfortunately,
think
yes.
it's old-fashioned. I don't know.
I completely agree with you. Yes. So then so I do have a CV, and it's a teaching
Oh,
CV,
yeah.
and I include my photo with it because this is something that I do internationally. So I have this, and then this document has just the experiences that I have done with teaching, and that is it. I don't currently have working with you guys on here. That's my next update that I put on for mine, but it does, yeah. And so it's a shorter document as well. It's only 3 pages. It probably could be even less than that if I were to mark some things down and stuff, but I think 3 is not too bad. But it includes everything. Like I said, both of them have my languages listed on there too. And then I include some related experience because the work that I did with the Kentucky Chamber executives was professional development training. So it's similar to the work that I do as a teacher, especially when it comes to business teaching. When I'm teaching business English, the work that I did there is relative to that. So those are just some samples, and the idea of having more than one, depending on what your skills are and what job it is that you're going for, is important. Yes, Marina, you've had your hand up for a while. Sorry.
Yeah, I have a question related to what you just say about having several different CVs. For example, if I apply for the same company, big pharmaceutical company, and I apply for example position like top position like regulatory authority, something like that, and also for the low position like laboratory worker or technician or something like that, should I provide different CVs? Wording is about that it's the same organization, and they can say you are lying because so what is right?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and one I haven't thought about, to be honest with you. But I would also say, depending on who you're giving the information to, it might be 2 different people that are reviewing your resume and your application and everything. So
so is it legal? It's okay to provide different fees for different positions,
right? Because you're providing specific information that is for that position.
Okay.
It's not saying that you don't have other skills. And you could even, note that somewhere on there as well, that, I have a varied background, and I have additional skills that would work in, and list what those other positions could be. So it could be, in IT and in communications, in whatever. Maybe that could be a line at the bottom of your CV that indicates that you do have other skills that are available. And then that way, if they're comparing resumes or CVs, and then they see it's the same person with different skills listed, then they would understand that that's why. Or you could do one that would list the skills that you have for both, and you would send it to both of them. So
yeah,
it just you can write it in your cover letter that you have you had such responsibilities, but now you can go to the lower position.
Yeah, absolutely. Note that in your CV. You can also let them know that you have a full CV available if they would like that. That includes all of your history and all of your skills that you have. You could say that this is my CV related to or specific to whatever the job is. And then, note that I do have a full CV available if you would like to see that.
Okay, so this is usual practice, usual procedure to have different CVs or to adjust your CV upon
Yeah,
position.
it's newer, maybe in the last 5-10 years that people have been focusing in on making their CV related to the job itself. It used to be you had to tell them everything, but I think recently people have been wanting to focus in more on the exact skills that are required and that someone has for a particular job.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any other questions about CVs? All right, one of the other documents that I have.
Can you share your CV
Of course.
for us?
You want both of them, or do you want?
It's a perfect example.
Sure.
Yes.
Would you like both of them? Okay. Yeah, I will put that on the homework and class materials list. I'll add the links.
Two types, please. Two types.
I will do that, of course. I'd be glad to.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So this document here, it talks about some of the words that we should and should not use. And this is a word, it's a relatively new article. I thought there was a date on it. It was like right now, but it looks like the list that we're looking at is as of 2018. And these are words that you should avoid in using.
Nice article. I already read it.
Good. Yeah, I think it is very interesting because I would use the word specialized or experienced in leadership. So down here at the bottom, it gives you, and this is another list of words that have lost their meaning, so words to avoid. But it does give you suggestions on how to tell your story and then what words you should use. So if you've researched something, then you should use the words like investigated, tested, evaluated, assessed, those types of things. So it gives you some additional suggestions. The other thing I would suggest doing is just searching in. So I can't spell synonyms for specialized. So these are maybe some additional words that I wouldn't use esoteric necessarily, but you can find other words. You can look for the synonyms of the words of things that you would have normally used that they're saying to not use now. Okay. Any questions about this?
It's not question, it's just my thoughts. I think he's not only about some particular words. It's about you don't need
Well, keep talking. Sorry, the dog walker's here, so I need to open the door. Apologize.
You shouldn't provide the general phrases. It's better to focus on your specific skills and specific results of your work. It's important. What do you think, girls?
Заслухались.
So it's.
I think that Alice CV is too long because 12 pages is too much, I think, but I don't know.
It depends on your experience. I was working hard to put all information in one sheet, but I have to create two columns and try to my CV now in one page, but it's very brief information. It's like
No. My CV is on 2 pages.
2 pages. 2 pages, it's okay. It's
Oh.
not so.
Yeah, but first variant was about 10 pages.
Sorry.
It's like resume, maybe. What is the difference, the main difference between resume and CV?
Ah,
Same.
so that is a good question. So that
As I
is,
understand, in different countries, it's a bit confusing.
it is. So most of the time within the US, we say resume. We do not use the word CV within the US. CV is typically used outside of the US.
Mhm.
So that's one of the main differences that is there. It also can, so I was looking at something and it said that, I mean, it's not in here. Maybe
And
it's
what
somewhere
is
else.
the exact meaning of curriculum vitae? Is it Latin? Latin?
Yes,
Yes.
it's like,
Mhm.
Latin.
Yeah, it's the Latin curriculum vitae. Vitae, I think is how it's pronounced. I don't know Latin. Difference between resume and CV. So this is saying that a CV has the full history, and in contrast, a resume presents a concise picture of your skills and qualifications. Full history of your academic credentials. Wait a minute, that may be
But
specific.
sometimes it's vice versa. It's like resume. It's more.
I think that it's only the matter of the title, the meaning, the real meaning and the sense of, and the purpose actually of the document.
Yeah, and I think in all honesty, the biggest difference that I'm aware of is that the resume is what is used for the US, and then the CV is used otherwise. Although this is in the US, if we say CV, it is about academia, scientific research, and medical fields. So we do use CV in the US, but only for those specific jobs, those specific positions. Whereas outside of the US, CV is the name that is used for the same information.
Okay.
Yeah, it's confusing. To be honest with you, it's confusing. So what you all need to know more than anything is that you need to have a CV, because that is what is used. That's the terminology that is used in the UK. All right. Yeah, I'm just looking. And I think this is also very specific to the US. This article is, so that's not going to help much. All right. Any other questions about a CV or
No.
words used? We're good.
Just interested, Ali, if you, for example, want to, in USA, you want to change your job, how long it can takes? I mean, how long? How 4 months or
Yeah,
more?
that is a very good question, because it all depends. It depends on that networking that you do. I know people that through their networking have been offered a job very quickly. They've been kind of recruited away from the job that they're currently doing. And it can be very fast from the time that the job is offered. And then I know people who have been trying to search for another job for a couple of years, depending on what it is that they're doing and what it is that they're wanting specifically and wanting to change. And unfortunately, right now, things are changing, I think, as we're coming out of the pandemic, but the last couple of years has been really difficult for a lot of people worldwide because of the pandemic, and a lot of positions going away, and people working from home more now and things too. But I think we're starting to kind of come out of that to an extent. But yeah, I don't think the US is any different than any other country necessarily, in that it can all depend. And I think a lot of it depends on the type of work that you're already doing, and the type of, if you want to stay with that, or if you're wanting to change your career completely, and then the network that you have. So I have
and one more question. How
Yes.
do you think in USA is it a gender when men can have more earn than women? How it goes?
Yes, yes, men definitely earn more money than women do in the US.
In USA,
Mhm,
really?
yes,
On the same position, for
Yes.
example, on the same position.
yeah. We do not have an equal pay opportunity. It's not law for equal pay. So we have, it takes, oh, that's in Portugal, equal pay day in US. It used to be much later than this, but so it takes from at March 15th in the year is when the pay gap between men and women closes. So for 3 months, at minimum, men are making more money than women. It used to be much later than that, actually. It's starting to get closer in, but it used to be later in the year before the pay gap would close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
It's,
Yeah.
it's interesting, yes. But let me.
According to the government, so it's like the minimum earning rate, and it's on the governmental level, like developed, that men earn more money.
It's still very much a patriarchal thing where companies believe that a man needs to have more money because he needs to provide for his family, even though there's a lot of single women or single mothers or just single women. And it's no longer this idea of that it was in the 50s where the men were the ones that needed to provide for the family. But a lot of companies still look at it that way, and they do. Not everyone, but there are a lot of places that will not pay equally. I'm not saying it happens in every single company, but it's still an issue within the country itself. Yes.
Okay.
I had I just thought that it's according to, like, you know, in Ukraine there is like the rate, so the minimum earning rate. So
Minimum wage.
No, this amount as minimum.
Yeah. So in the US, we call it a minimum wage.
Yeah.
Wage, yeah, for everybody.
Right.
But is it equal to men and women in the USA?
Right. But minimum wage is not enough money to live on in the US. And some states, yeah. So and it can be dependent on state as well. So the US minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. California pays 15 an hour. That's the highest. So, but most people in the US, if you're working in a restaurant, you're actually making less than $7.25 an hour. You're making around $3.40 or something, which is why we tip in the US, because our servers do not even make minimum wage in the US. Minimum wage is typically people who are doing very menial positions. It could be working in a fast food restaurant. It could be, your garbage collectors or your housekeepers, people who are cleaning offices, things like that, to an extent. But I mean, most companies, I made much more than $7.25 an hour whenever I worked, but I made an annual salary. I didn't make money by hour. So, companies can choose how they want to pay, but based off of the minimum wage, it's very difficult to live in the US off minimum wage.
So that's the reason why your waiters receive the tips.
Yes.
Because they, because for me it was like something very weird. But in Ukraine, actually, the waiters at decent restaurants can earn more than office managers.
Right.
And I was astonished all the time. Why should pay tips for people who earn more than 20?
Yes, it's because they don't even make minimum wage. So yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yes,
And-
so we do not have, the minimum wage is there, but as far as like professional positions, there's not a minimum or a standard for professional positions. So someone who is, in the science field, or someone who is a teacher, or, things like that, there's not, it varies state by state. And sometimes within the state, it can vary city by city as well, what those standards are. And so, yeah, there's no equal pay law that we have. It keeps getting not passed. There are still states that refuse to pass the equal pay law in the US to make sure that men and women are making the same amount of money for the same job that they're doing. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Very interesting information about USA, but let me just share one more maybe useful thing for
Yes, please.
for us about CV. Composing our CV, we should to remember that in our days a lot of HRs, they use just software to compare or to confirm is it your CV fit for this position or not. And how they do this? They just put responsibilities from the job offer and put your information from your CV and just put them on the software, and software can provide, for example, your CV fit for this position for 50% or for 80% of something like that. And you should remember that it's just mathematics, just software. So if it's allowed to adjust your CV in each position, you should pay attention for maybe adjust with the same words from the responsibility area, and it in order just to put your CV further to this process of application, just to your CV be how can I say, noticed and chosen from all other CVs. So it's important. And I was surprised, but because when I have position which I feel that I perfectly fit for this position, and I took responsibilities from this position and took information from my CV and put on the software, it was only 30% coincidence.
Yes. Connections, maybe.
Connections, yeah. It's it's interesting. But
doesn't mean that we have to like look at the offer.
Yes.
Read it
Exactly.
before, and then adjust our CV or resume according to exactly this position.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that goes back to,
unfortunately.
Unfortunately. So that that would be another reason why you would have more than one CV available, but also that list of words that I showed you, like the common ones, the ones that are, no longer used or whatever, that may not be the case with the type of job that you're looking for. So you need to look at that specific job offer and use those words that they put in there, because if it is a computer that is sorting through all of them, they're going to kick out anything that doesn't have the buzzwords for that particular job. Yeah, it's a good point. Thank you. I had forgotten about that. Yeah. It's been so long since I've actually had to do this. So.
It's something vice versa. You shouldn't be like too extraordinary. You have to use buzzwords actually.
Right, exactly. And some of those buzzwords can definitely be industry related as well. Someone who's doing scientific work may not want to have as many big bright buzzwords as someone who's a Pilates instructor. So your CVs are going to be totally and completely different because of that.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Okay. We will do some job interview questions next time on Friday. So we'll practice doing that, and how we should respond and those kinds of things. So that will be our main focus on Friday, since we didn't get to do that today. But I loved our conversation today, and a lot of really good ideas and sharing experiences and ideas and everything. I'm making some additional notes on some of the stuff we just talked about, like adjusting the words to the job notice and having multiple CVs available and those types of things too. So, all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much. It was fabulous to see you today.
Thank you, guys.
I will
Thank
see you on
you for your
Friday.
experience as well. Thank you for sharing with us.
You're welcome.
Because I haven't found my job for ages.
I understand. Yeah. It's difficult when it's been a while that you had to do this. Yeah.
It's common for us now, for all of us, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. You're all in the
Good
same
luck.
boat.
Good luck.
Good luck to everyone. Yes. All right. See you Friday.
Yeah, bye-bye.
See you Friday. Bye-bye.